Hey guys, so I just wanted to talk about something because it's on my mind. So in my ethnic politics class today, we had a debate on immigration, which, as everyone knows, is a very heated topic. So I guess I don't even know why I am talking about it now, because the last thing I really want is to start this huge argument on my Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But it's on my mind, and I feel like I need to talk about it. So the debate in my class today was whether or not the DREAM Act should be passed. And so I guess I'll provide a little bit of background for everyone, because I know not everyone is as far in their education, and some of you might not have taken classes or cared to know about this kind of stuff. So the first little bit of background information I will supply you with is, so there's this difference between illegal immigrants and undocumented immigrants. Everybody knows what an illegal immigrant is. They came here, crossed the border, blah, blah, blah. But so there's a thing called undocumented immigrants. It's usually referring to younger immigrants. Their parents brought him here. They like kind of, I guess, came here against their will, or they were kind of too young to know that what they were doing was wrong, right? But anyway, so it's these younger immigrants who are likely in our school systems, which, as you know, are funded by our tax dollars. So they're kind of using our tax dollars already to get this education. But the thing is, since they are undocumented citizens, they do not have the right to legally work. They do not have the right to pursue an education beyond high school. So I guess one thing, they kind of have nothing for them after high school. So, I mean, what's the point of going to high school if you know there is not going to be anything out there for you afterwards? So one effect this kind of has is that it increases our dropout rates, which, if you think about it, is no good for us, because it's leaving us, these immigrants are still here, it's leaving us with these uneducated people, which is not really a good thing. I mean, the last thing we need is an America full of uneducated people. That's just not beneficial to us in any way, shape, or form. So I guess I will go to what the DREAM Act is now. The DREAM Act, what it does is it grants these undocumented citizens, or not citizens, undocumented immigrants. So it grants these immigrants that have been here for 5+ years and came at the age here of 16 or younger. It grants them the opportunity to pursue a higher education. It grants them the opportunity to legally work and join our military. And after 2 years of any of those options, they would be granted citizenship. Of course, if they show good character, blah, 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 all the typical things that you need to have to become a U.S. citizen. So, yes, okay. So it allows them to pursue a higher education, which I think is really huge. It gives them a purpose. It gives them a reason to go to college. It would create more educated people to be in America instead of all these uneducated people. It would decrease our dropout rates. So more people here would be educated, which I think is a great thing. It's great for our economy to have many educated people. So we were talking about this in my class, and this one girl, I didn't get it, but her argument for not wanting the DREAM Act to be passed was, she's like, they don't belong here. Why should we give them money to go to college when I barely have enough money to go to college? My financial aid isn't enough, and I might not be able to come to school here next year because of it. Well, first off, I think that's a very invalid argument because the money that this is coming from is not the same as the money you receive for financial aid. The money you receive for financial aid goes through FAFSA. The money that we would be using to help the DREAM Act get passed and help these undocumented immigrants go to college, get jobs, stuff like that, comes from ICE, which I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but it's something about immigration. The original purpose for this funding or budget of ICE was to round up all these illegal and or undocumented immigrants and deport them, which to me kind of seems like a lot of work, especially when it would take the same amount of money that we would actually use from the same fund to pass the DREAM Act and help these people that are already in our school systems. It would help them to get educated. It would help them be able to go get a college education. It would allow them to legally work. And while we're on this part of the subject, I know a big reason for the hatred of many immigrants is that they're taking our jobs because they're undocumented. They're not supposed to be here. So since they're undocumented, we can pay them a lot less because, I mean, since we know that they're not supposed to be here, we could tell on them and they could get deported. So yes, we can pay them a lot less. So in a sense, they're taking our jobs, and I know that's why a lot of people don't like immigrants. So for the job thing, if they can legally work, they would be working for the same amount as everyone else. They would be paying taxes, which they're not now. They wouldn't be taking our jobs. They would have the same equal opportunity when it comes to jobs as everybody else, which I think would definitely be beneficial to us. Because right now they're not paying taxes on anything. They're kind of draining our economy if you think about it. Sorry, I lost my thoughts there for a minute. But, so back to the school thing. She's like, because I don't have enough money for school. FAFSA didn't give me enough money, so why should I help them when they're not supposed to be here? Well, so first of all, we covered the funding thing. It doesn't even come from the same place. And then my second thing was, like, you were born with the privilege to go to college and pursue a higher education if you want to. You were born with the privilege to work. You were obviously smart enough to get here because you're here. And, you know, FAFSA, financial aid, unless you are, like, dirt poor and or really, really smart, nobody's financial aid covers all of their college. Everybody has to pay out of pocket, you know? It's how it works. That's how college is. You pay for it. You work for it. You know, you have the opportunity to work. Get a job, you know? I am in a very similar situation, you know, for my dad. My dad went unemployed for over a year. Actually, I think it was almost 2 years. Right before and then during my first year of college. So through my senior year and through a decent part of my freshman year of college, my dad was unemployed. We lost at least half of our income. Logically, I mean, anybody can realize this. That made it extremely hard for my family and I to be able to pay for my college education. My family did not and still does not have the money to pay for my college education. So you know what I did? I saved my money that I made because I have a job, because I am privileged enough to be able to legally have a job. I saved my own money up because I wanted to go to college. I know how important it is, and I realized that it's really worth it and that I want to do it. So I took the initiative of my own education, and I decided to save up to pay for my college. And I just don't get why she thinks that it should be handed to her. And I told her, I was like, you know, you have the opportunity to go get a job. Get a job. If your education is that important to you, you will find a way to make it work. And maybe it seems a little tough, but that's how I see it. If it's something you really want, you're going to go after it. You're going to put in the effort to make it work out. There is always an option. And if your job maybe doesn't pay you quite enough money to be able to afford college, find a different job. That's what I did. And if you can't find a different job, you know, there's always other options like taking out a personal loan from your bank. Like, there are so many different options of how she could fix this supposed problem. And her only reasoning of why the DREAM Act shouldn't be passed is because, well, they're not supposed to be here. Why should we help them when some of us aren't able to help? And you know what? Somebody else brought up a really good point was, he's like, I was raised in a family where I was told you don't have to look very far to see somebody who's worse off than you. And it's very true. I'm not saying we have people in America that, I'm not saying we don't have people in America that are worse off than us that need help, but we also realize that some of these people on welfare shouldn't be on welfare. Some of these people who aren't pursuing a higher education, it's not because they don't have the money, it's because they don't have the go-getter attitude. They're too lazy, quite frankly, to pursue this higher education, to get a job, to be able to pay for it, to make their life better. I'm not saying all poor people are like this. I'm saying there are people in bad situations that are in bad situations because they put themselves in that situation. It's just think about it. It's like, why? I just don't get it. And the big thing that really just I don't understand is why people are so against immigrations. It's like they forgot where they came from. It's like they forgot what our country was built on. Unless you are Native American, 100%, you did not come from here. Your ancestors probably came here on a boat from somewhere in Europe or Asia or somewhere. They were not born here. They were immigrants as well, And so I don't understand why people are so against immigration when our nation was born on immigrants, and just think how different your life might be if we didn't have this opportunity to chase after this American dream, You were an immigrant too. So why are you so against immigration? I don't get it. Is it because they have a different color skin than you? Is it because they come from a very poor country? I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't know. But I guess that's my food for thought, They're already here. Why spend the same amount of money? Why deport them when it would take the same amount of money to help them help us? If we grant them the opportunity to get educated and get jobs legally, in theory, doesn't that help us? I mean, what if there is some intelligent person out there with very, very high potential? Maybe they could be a great doctor someday and come up with the cure for cancer. Maybe they could be an engineer that's absolutely amazing that could come up with something that none of us could ever come up with. And they don't become whatever that possibility is because somebody was too closed-minded, because they were so against immigration for who knows what reason. So this person never ever benefited us. I mean, who's to say what could or couldn't happen, And it seems like a lot of people's main reasons for not wanting to pass the DREAM Act is all these ifs. And they're like, this legislation, it's not perfect, so we shouldn't pass it. Well, you know what? Nothing is perfect. Sure, there might be little flaws in this, but it's nothing we can't fix. Nothing was ever made perfect. So this is just my food for thought. I guess that's really all I have to say. And like I said, I'm not trying to start this huge debate. That's the last thing I want. I just want you guys to think about it. Because, like I said, it seems to me that a lot of people forget that we are a nation built on immigration. I didn't come from here. My family's mostly from Germany, And sometimes I wonder how different my life would have been if they never came over. I'd be in completely different shoes. I'd be in a completely different situation. Sometimes you just need to realize how absolutely privileged you are. And I don't get how people can be so selfish as to say, well, they don't belong here, so we shouldn't help them at all. You know, what if no one helped us? I guess that's really all I have to say. So just food for thought, guys. Hope you think about it.